like to call to order the November 16th, 2020 County Commission meeting. We welcome all of our guests here tonight. We do have a few commissioners that are viewing by electronic basis and will record their presence when it comes to proper time, which is allowed by the governor at this time. I would say this to all of our commissioners that, you know, you're setting, if you want to wear your mask, that would be appropriate if you'd like to do that. If you'd like more distance between you, the panel in the back is open, and we'll work the mics from back there if you'd like to do that. So feel free to do that. There are a couple of chairs in the front corners if you feel like you need social distance there as well. Last month, we felt like it worked pretty good on our mics, as long as we kind of kept that distance of about 6 inches there, spoke normal in there. I know we got some good feedback from the TV folks as far as that, so appreciate you doing that again tonight for me. Aaron's worked on that a little bit the last couple of weeks. And also the high-speed internet, we think, made a little bit of difference too on the live stream. So both of those are good, and we're going to continue to try to make those better. I did promise you a screen tonight, but because of COVID, they have back ordered that, so we didn't get that done. It is on the way, and so that hopefully as soon as we can get it here, we'll have it up and going. At this time, I'd like to call on Commissioner Venata, and she will introduce our prayer and pledge tonight. And as she comes, Commissioner Bishop has something to say to you. Commissioner Bishop?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to thank Sue publicly for inviting the guests tonight. Most of you know I've sort of been sick the last, or at least had a few health problems the last few weeks. And before I even realized I was supposed to have the pledge and prayer tonight, Sue called me and she said, "Joy, I've got you covered for the pledge and prayer." So I appreciate that, Sue, and thank you for inviting the guests, and thank the guests for coming.
Thank you, Commissioner Bishop. Ms. Venata?
Mayor Hutto and fellow commissioners and guests in the audience, I have a very special guest tonight that's going to do our prayer. I'm honored to introduce this young man. I've known his mother for a long time. She used to be our tourism director for Wilson County, and Cumberland University decided they needed her more than we did, so they called her and she went to work for them. Jeannie Bennett is in the audience. Will loves history, and he started loving history at a young age, and his community, he loves his community. When he was 4 years old and a student at Cedars Prep, he learned all the presidents' names. How many of you in here can name all the presidents? And he was invited to sing a song about the presidents on WANT radio with MJ at 4 years old now. His favorite president is James Monroe. And you know why? He has gray hair, Mayor. That's what he said. Will is a kind-hearted soul and wants to make a difference in the world. And he wants to meet and have a conversation with Mayor Hutto. So we've made that happen tonight. Our prayer this evening will be led by Will Bennett. Will is 11 years old and is in the 6th grade at Southside School. And following Will's prayer, I've invited retired Colonel Mr. Sam Hatcher that will come and lead us in the pledge. Will, it is yours.
All rise. Aaron, can you turn my volume?
Lord, please help us tonight. Please help these elected officials to make the right choices. Thank you for this day. Thank you for our frontline workers and trying to help us to find a cure for COVID. Please help this process speed up. And thank you, Lord. Amen.
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 Face the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Hatcher. Will? I've invited Will to come and sit with me tonight in the chambers here. So Will be our guest. If you will, press yes on your, present on your panel to record your presence at tonight's meeting. I have on the electronic version here, Commissioner Bishop, Commissioner Patton, Commissioner McFarland, Commissioner Breeze, and Commissioner Bannock. I know Commissioner Stafford was trying to join us, and hopefully she will soon. You can record. (23) present and 2 absent. This time we'll go to report from the steering committee. Commissioner Walker, if you could.
Yes, Mayor, fellow commissioners, the steering committee met Thursday, November 5th in the upstairs conference room. I move these minutes be accepted and filed.
I got a motion and a second. Do I hear any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Adoption of the agenda. Commissioner Walker.
We do have a consent agenda. I move that this be adopted.
You gotta adopt the
Adopt the agenda first.
Adopt the agenda.
I got a motion to adopt the agenda. Do I hear a second? I got a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? And now the consent agenda.
Spoke out of turn.
No
We
problem.
do have a consent agenda. I move that the consent agenda be accepted.
Second.
I got a motion and a second now. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay.
Just the
Opposed?
road things?
There are just the road things. 2 speed limits.
No money? Okay.
No money.
Nope.
All right, good.
Good deal. Okay. All righty. This time, Commissioner Marlow, would you come forward?
Well, I'm coming up here. I would like to ask Miss Mary Scruggs and her team.
Aaron, can you come see me? See if he does.
They didn't ask. I'm not on that committee.
Yeah, I'd like to read y'all a little story. Resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Wilson County, Tennessee, in recognition of Wilson County Animal Control Director Mary Scruggs. Mary Scruggs is a citizen and resident of Wilson County, Tennessee, having moved to Tennessee from Fort Lauderdale, Florida in 1989. A few years later, Mary began her public service in animal control in 1996, serving through 1999 as manager of the Humane Society of Wilson County. Mary then proceeded in 1999 to become the Animal Control Officer Manager of the City of Lebanon Animal Control, a position she held until 2001, when she became the Codes Officer for the City of Lebanon Codes Department. From the Codes Department in 2011, Mary accepted the position as Director of Wilson County Animal Control, a position she continues to hold. Mary served as Middle Tennessee Director for Animal Care and Control Association of Tennessee from 2012 to 2015. As Mary progressed in her work, she has continued her animal control education, becoming a certified officer in safety for animal control professionals, certified comprehensive animal control management, certified in field training, certified in ASP tactical baton training, certified through the National Animal Care and Control Association as a certified animal control officer, certified through the National Animal Care and Control Association, Colorado State University, and Code 3 Associates as an animal cruelty investigator, certified through the Humane Society of the United States in animal cruelty and fighting investigations, attended her certificate of completion for dog playing for life, and is a certified euthanasia technician. Mary has established the two main roles of animal control to embrace human welfare as well as animal welfare, and to deal with the interface between pets and society to serve the public. Mary believes the three things that makes Wilson County Animal Control successful are public service, education, and enforcement of animal laws, with education as a preventative measure and enforcement as a corrective measure going hand in hand, both being necessary to help solve animal problems. The first priority of Wilson County Animal Control when a dog is brought into the shelter is to find the owner so the owner may reclaim their pet. For the animals who are not claimed, our adoption rate is up, having adopted dogs out to Canada, New York, North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky, Arkansas, Alabama, and of course, Tennessee. Because of the successful adoption program and having more room at the animal shelter, our euthanasia rate is down, so it's no longer necessary to euthanize for space. Whereas other accomplishments of the department for which Mary and all her employees are proud are the new play yard where the dogs can go out to play, being able to assist new Leash on Life with cat food and dog food to help with tornado victims and COVID-19, and accept donations for old dog houses from people who no longer have dogs, so that these dogs houses can be donated to those who cannot afford them. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Wilson County, Tennessee, that we hereby recognize and express our appreciation to Mary Scruggs for her years of service as Wilson County Animal Control Director, her dedication to making life better for all Wilson Countyans, and helping to change the mindset of apathy into concern, carelessness into responsibility, and ignorance into understanding. I make a motion we approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
I will have to say this about Miss Mary. When we first began in my term here, been a little while ago, animal control, I would have calls quite often. Miss Mary has taken control of that. I thank you and your team and your staff for what y'all do, because there's concerns that we have across the county, and you guys do an awesome job. So thank you for that. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. I have
Yes.
a good team here.
It is a good team.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. We have been joined by Commissioner Stafford online now, so we can add her presence if we would. And report from the Minutes Committee.
The Minutes Committee of the County Commission of Wilson County, Tennessee met in regular session on Thursday, November the 5th at 6 p.m. in the upstairs conference room. The packet of minutes, the minutes packet is in your packet. I move that they be received and filed.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay.
I move with the
Eyes
dispense
across
of
here,
the reading
Mr.
of the minutes.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's pretty quick. So, Ms. Stafford, I do have you online. You do not have to rejoin. Just wanted to make sure you knew that. And thank you for muting your phone. I appreciate that as well. And so we'll move forward here as we go on. But I did have you. Okay. Communications from the chair. Let me just cover this. I know this has kind of been a conversation, maybe through Facebook and maybe some other areas, and that is about the recycling of plastic. A long time ago, we would carry our plastic to Laverne. Of course, it brought some money on the recycle side of life, and just like cardboard and metal, that stuff, and then they went away. If you remember, recycles have really gone down some in the past. We used to have at the school system a company that brought large bins, and they set them at every school, and we would dump paper in there, and they'd come by and pick it up and give the school back so much money. Well, they went away as well. But so that's what's happened to plastic. And so after Laverne, Cindy started carrying her plastic to Nashville. And they were taking it for a little while, and then they decided that there were no money involved, and so they asked her, we'll take your plastic if you'll give us your cardboard for free. Well, Cindy, being the money manager is, she really didn't want to do that. And so we shopped around a little bit and still work with them some. And so she's still working to try to find a place for plastic. We did call the people that take our regular garbage, which is in Smith County, and they took it, our plastic, for a little while. But again, if we are recycling and you're putting it in the bins, carrying it up there to put it in a landfill is really ingenious, you may say. And that's kind of what they said back to us. We could put the plastic in the dumpsters and just send it up there without recycling. So either way it goes, as we are today, we're probably going to have to pay to have the plastic recycled. Either we don't recycle and put it in our bins and pay Smith County to take the plastic, or we put it in our bins and Cindy finds somewhere that will take it for a cheapest cost as we can get it. We have a good deal with Smith County right now, about $35 a ton. Okay, plastic will not be that cheap. So Cindy's working hard to try to find the best deal. So some of our bins have been full because Smith County has said, hey, can't handle any more. So we will get back with you. We will make, as you well know, I give you a letter normally once a year because the landfill has to divert at least 25% from the landfill. And so a lot of that we get through recycling and other things that other companies in the county do for us. I think the last time we were diverted about 47% of goods going to the landfill. So therefore, we're working on that. I know it's been a hot button. The Urban Type Facility Board will address whatever she comes up with, I think, on December the 4th. So we'll come back. But I think either way, you're looking at probably having to pay for recycling plastic until you find, until the market comes back. Cardboard is okay right now, I believe. Metal's not bad, but she's doing the best she can there. Any questions about that at all? Okay. I know you know that COVID numbers have really been out of the roof lately. I used to worry about 60s, 70s, and 80s. Today, my largest number was 176. There's been questions. People will say, hey, are we under a mask mandate? And we are, have been. We put it back in on October the 24th. If you read the resolution on our website, it will say that. Now, it says it ends October 30th because at the time we put it back into place, Governor Lee had not extended his authority. But if you'll read the line right below that, it said Executive Order 67 has extended that. And so it is in place until Governor Lee takes the authority away or until we lift the mandate. We have worked hard at trying to do maybe a different message. We feel like a lot of times people are looking at, it's all about the mask, and it's really not about the mask. It's really more, we're trying to say from our office, it's really more about if you get it, please don't give it to somebody else. And a lot of people are saying, gosh, I really want to go to that ball game, or hey, I need to go to work. And that's where I hope we can probably help with that. Our people in Wilson County are smart, and we'll tackle this as we go on. But lately, it has just really kind of gotten to where the numbers are pretty large. You will say, well, they're doing a lot of testing. They are, but we're still about 17% of the people that get tested are turning positive. So we want to get, the goal to get that is back down to 5. Our goal, our schools, I see Dr. Wright here. I've talked to Mr. Benson. They're sending stuff home with the students to go to their parents. So we're doing all we can. I encourage you to do that as well. Anything I can help you with, please let me know, but we are working hard at that. Just last week, Tim Defender sent me that they tested 1,079 in 16 hours. They were closed for Veterans Day. So they are having a lot of people that are coming wanting to be tested. And so that is where we are there. Any questions on COVID? Okay. Just know that we're doing our best to get the word out and to communicate to people on that. I would like to appreciate Mr. Philip Warren and the election that we had. Really, I'll come right to you, that we had recently, under tough times. I thought they did an outstanding job there. I appreciate him and his team for what they did. Commissioner Gentry?
Yeah, we have a couple of vaccines that are very possible real soon. How is that going to be distributed in Tennessee, or do we have any information on that at all?
No information at this point to our office, probably way above our head here, but as we hear stuff, I will definitely forward that to you. I know I've given you a lot of emails lately, but I've tried to keep you as up to date on everything as I can. You probably get too many, but I've done my best to get information to you. but if we hear anything, I will let you know. Speaking on that note, on Thursday, November the 19th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the fairgrounds here where Mr. Quentin is in the back, they'll have some tents set up out there so you can drive through and get a free flu shot. You can stay in your car. It says there's no documents needed nor insurance. So that's Thursday, November the 19th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And it's drive-through at the Wilson County Commission. I don't know how many of you know this, but Miss Robinson made a big day along with Wema, Joey Cooper, and them for a Make-A-Wish for a young lady at Springdale Elementary. I appreciate you doing that. Thanks for inviting me to that. It was neat, a young lady that wanted to ride in a fire truck. And they made that happen. And so thanks to Wayman, thanks for you for doing that. I know they had a bigger celebration at home, but thank you for that. They did the 7th mural at Watertown at the AR store there about a train, a locomotive, so that when people get off, they have about 20 trains, I think, a year, Mike. They say at your place, and is that about right? So they walk by there. So I thought that mural really looked awesome. I thank the Murals Committee for what they're doing there, as well as the Tourism Department and Ms. Fanata. Veterans Day was a good day. Here we had the parade was a little lower than normal because they didn't allow the students to be involved, but the ceremony over here had a great crowd. Thanks to Sabrina C. for that. But just wanted you to know that we have a social worker over there. So if you run across people in your districts that need some help there, the social worker is provided for the next 6 months by the American Job Center. So it's no cost to us. And she's actually a widow of a Wilson County veteran. She served in the Fort Campbell area for a while. And so we're excited about having her there. But please feel free to use her if you can. I believe the Wall of Honor is still up over there in the front area. So Ms. Sabrina C. secured that. So please, if you get a chance to go by and look at that. Everything else, I believe we're in good shape on. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Senator Pody, if he will. He wants to speak to you tonight and give you an update there. And then Ms. Gail Hibbert will be here for the expo to give you an update after he finishes where we were missing last month. Senator?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Just as you all are going through some unique times here in the county, I believe we're going to be going through some unique times as we go back into session early in January. In fact, normally we would start and have reorganization and then come back right away after about 2 weeks and start session. There was talk that we might not just take a few months possibly off, go in for reorganization constitutionally like we're supposed to, and then maybe not come back until it could be the middle of March, which is going to possibly change some of the times that we have effective bill filing deadlines and such. With that being said, one of the things that I wanted to do before we go back into session, I'm trying to go to all the county commissioners and ask if there is any kind of legislation that they're looking for or private acts that they need that we're actually meeting with attorneys next month to start drawing these up and so forth. So where I'd normally be saying that we have a bill filing deadline, in late January, early February, that might be postponed for a longer time after that. We didn't have a chance to end the session properly, and I wanted to come back and give you all a report. Some things that we did do while we were in session was we actually made short-term rentals, so there could be taxes collected on some of those. We also allowed that if an owner owns more than 2 pieces of residential property, that they could be taxed as a commercial rate as well. We passed a law saying that internet sales tax, that starting October 1st, 2019, we required anybody that submits sales tax as they were selling over the internet, and that would come down to the local county as well as the cities and such by the zip code. In fact, we believe that Wilson County had over an extra $1 million worth of money coming in from that alone. We also said that market facilitators such as eBay and Amazon would have to start collecting that tax and have that come down to the local counties and cities as well. We did say that for jails and prisons, that they'd be able to contract with Tricor to provide work training if they so desired to do that. We also said that ambulance services, which has not been reimbursed, and the counties have had to pick that up at extremely high rate, would be now at least reimbursed at about 67.5%, 2/3 of what Medicare is being allowed. You know, we were trying to get 100% of that reimbursed at Medicare rate. However, with COVID, we had to cut about $1 billion out of the state budget, which really had to cut a lot of the bills that we were trying to do to come back. But with that being said, I believe Wilson County has gotten a lot more money based on this budget than what we had before. In fact, it would be almost close to 20% more from the state than what we received earlier. Now, part of that money, though, was one-time money. For example, we had $100 million that we divided up amongst all 95 counties, and Wilson County had gotten almost $2 million of that money. We also gave about $800 and some thousand to Lebanon. We gave $818,000 to Mount Juliet, and $63,000 to Watertown.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. So with that, I will tell you our state revenues, we don't know what they're going to look like coming forward, because a lot of things that we had anticipated to happen with the COVID, we just are flying, I'm going to say, almost by the seat of our pants. We don't know what it's going to look like. But our state revenues are at least meeting all the projections that we had, and they're slightly up. So we believe that they're going to continue on that path. So we don't think we got to make a lot more cuts. However, I think the governor has asked for all the departments to go ahead and try and submit a budget this year. He's going through budget hearings already and asking for budget cuts on that. We just don't know what those revenues are going to be looking like and going forward. But that's kind of the report that we had. But I want to just, in this time, see if there's anything specific you all are looking for, or anything I can tell you about what's coming up this year.
Any questions for the senator? I will say this, as people are thinking, what we would like to do to you, and I'll bring to this commission in December, is a resolution to see if we could qualify for some funds that, like Gatlinburg got when they had the fires, for maybe some reimbursement of 170 properties that we lost by the tornado. We started that last year. Of course, you guys got out of session, and it's really more effective for this coming year. Those will be the properties that will not be in our tax budget this time. So I'll bring that resolution here. We have figured out what those revenues are, and would love to submit that to you to see if you could find a way to look through your budget for that.
And in light of that, we've actually started working on that, as well as with some of the other counties down in Chattanooga that have lost some of theirs as well as some of the other, and we're trying to get that together to make that happen. The best thing at this point, we're believing it might be over a couple of years, not all reimbursed at one time. But we are working on that, but please bring that resolution.
Okay, all right.
And there was a question about how the vaccines would be distributed, and it's going to be up to the governor and his team and staff, and I believe that Commissioner Ash would probably know more about this than I do. But from what I've seen from the governor's office, they wanted to get to the first responders first, to make sure that the fire department and law enforcement would be distributed first. I believe that school teachers were going to be very high on that list, and then they were going to focus on the elderly. And as that comes through, there'll be a list of how that's going to be going. But I believe Commissioner Ash would probably know more about that than I do. But with that, any other questions I can answer for you all?
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Walker?
What kind of legislation, you know of any about by Tennessee? Is there anything legislation on the books at all?
You know, we actually, and I tried carrying that bill back underneath the Haslam administration, saying that if a company was actually doing business in Tennessee, that we should choose that company if everything else is equal, or even if they were maybe 1% higher or whatever. It didn't go anywhere at that point. I don't know where we'd be looking at with the new governor at that, but I'm in favor of working with Tennesseans before we go outside if possible.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the senator? Senator, thank you for being here tonight. And
Mr. Mayor, thank you. Commissioners, thank you.
thank you. Ms. Gale?
Well, it feels good to finally be able to talk to you guys in person. So I put a packet on your desk that has, it's a folder, and I did that intentionally since I haven't been able to talk to you personally. It gives you an idea of the rebranding with the Farm Bureau name. We went through an extensive process to give ourselves a new look, a new feel. If you will notice on that, you will see the silo included in that. And that was intentional to maintain a segment of the history and not lose everything just under the Farm Bureau name, but still respect the fact that Farm Bureau came on with the naming rights. So within that packet, right, just slipped inside, you have a real quick report. It's bulleted. I was like, I haven't talked to you, so like I have so much I want to tell you. But to start off with, October, I was really, really proud. In the middle of COVID, we actually exceeded last year's numbers. I was like, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And prior to that, each month, July up until October, we marked right at the half mark, just a little above or just a little below. And still, under COVID times, I still feel that's amazing. So I'm going to just kind of walk through a little bit of facts for you so that you kind of know what's going on over there. If I've not had an opportunity to talk with you, you also have my business card inside that folder. My cell phone's on there. Please feel free to call me if you've got any questions. So we've changed the website. We had an intern that was unpaid that developed everything for me. We are now saving over $8,000 a year by doing it ourselves, which I'm very, very proud of, and I'm very proud of the new look, and it's more agile and we can keep it up to date. And the fact that the intern created it for us was phenomenal, and we didn't lose any of our SEO in the process. So if you're not, that's also amazing to be able to make that transition and keep that. As well as IT can easily support that for us. We conducted a recent survey. I wanted to get a sense of what the community wanted, because we want to make sure that we're meeting the community's desire for how we're using the expo. And I'm really proud to say that out of the list of the festival, the concert, the circus, the fashion show, the sporting events, and the family activities, we're already on target with 3 of them. That made me very, very happy. Very positive results regarding being aware of the naming rights, having been to the expo before, being aware of the fact that we're municipally owned, which a lot of people still don't realize, but out of this survey, the greater majority did. That's very positive. And you'll see the last one, 59.5% say that COVID has altered their attendance. And I kind of suspected that was coming because I came in May in the middle of COVID. So that was a big challenge and a big hurdle to have to get over. And so we overcame that by communication and education, talking to our event planners, working with them. Because if we could keep them on an even keel and work with them on how they could do their events safely, or maybe determine they can't do their event safely, then we could keep the momentum going. And that was very, very important to us. So it seems to fit in that we were doing the right thing in that it was a big concern, and we were able to turn that around. If you look at the attendance, all of our events that we've had since June have had greater attendance than expected, with the exception of 2. So that's phenomenal. In that packet, speaking of that, and speaking to what the mayor just mentioned about making sure we're doing things safely, you have a copy of our guidelines of what we're projecting, what we're telling our event planners to make sure that they're planning, make sure they're on board, and that we're working together in a partnership to make sure that we're doing things healthy, not only for our staff, but for the event planners, for their staff, and for the attendees, and communicating that out. Ironically, we started having events that people have walked up, and if somebody wasn't wearing a mask, maybe they took it off to take a drink or something like that, and they were seen without that, people were leaving. So the momentum has shifted from, I don't want to wear a mask, to, well, if you're not wearing one, I'm not coming in. I think that says something about how our standard has led the way in how we've managed our events. So our safety protocols are in place. We are still continuing to uphold the Tennessee Pledge. We are doing our one-on-one conversations. What's interesting, what has come out of that also, is the fact that we are now getting referrals from other vendors telling other event planners about us. We're also benefiting from the fact that Municipal Auditorium is still going to continue to be closed to be a homeless shelter. The Nashville Fairgrounds is continuing to be closed because it's a homeless shelter. I've got event planners out of state calling me because other event planners are saying, hey, they can help you and they'll work with you. That's phenomenal. It's just absolutely phenomenal. And it all results down into the fact that we've had approximately 18 new, not repeat, new multi-day, multi-year events booked through 21, 22, 23, just depending on how it fit into the calendar. We've had approximately 20 new events that could be a day, day and a half, but they're not really necessarily multi-year per se. We have rolled over 80% of what canceled in 2020 into 2021. That's phenomenal. The ones that did not roll were the kinds of events that you don't really roll somebody's birthday, a 65th birthday party or whatever it was. So that's significant. We worked with them, we listened to them, we communicated with them, and it made a difference. And they're following through and being consistent about being able to have their events in 2021. And just to give you an idea of what the calendar looks like, I have one open event or one open weekend in 2021 at this point. One. Okay, so if you want to have an event on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, good luck with that because I've already got them all booked. I just think it says a lot, and I really appreciate your guys' support. I appreciate your guys' guidance as well as the Ag Committee's guidance. It's been an interesting road to learn some of the ropes, but I think that we've done a good job. I'm really proud of the entire staff there. Quentin has been a huge help to me in helping guide me. And the last thing I want to leave you with, before you ask any questions you might have, you have a copy of a calendar. I gave it to you this way so you could sort of see the structure of how we do it. If you want to be able to see this calendar, shoot me an email in my very professional handwritten note at the top, and I will give you access. You can look at it anytime you want. That is the active working calendar that we use for booking. You can't change it, but you can certainly see it, okay? And it just gives you a little more detailed view than going to the website. But I encourage you to go to the website, check out the new look, the new feel. The Facebook is super active. I've got over 11,000 hits on that in a month, so we're definitely got the activity. That's my report. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank
No?
you, Ms. Gill. Appreciate you coming and sharing, and thank you for all the work you're doing. I know it's a juggling match right now with all of the stuff that happened, and I know you got Mr. Quentin in the back, and Quentin, I thank you as well for, I know you guys are really rocking and rolling out there with a lot of different things happening right now. I know the light show is probably one of the biggest things out there in your way, but thanks for all y'all do because it is definitely a revenue maker for all of us. So thank y'all.
And
Yeah.
you have coupons for the dancing lights in your packet.
Okay. Thanks again, Ms. Gill. Okay. Mr. Goodall, any additions to be added to the notary list?
We're good.
Good. I hear a motion to approve the notary list. Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Report to Emergency Management Committee. Commissioner Glover.
Met on Monday, October 19th at 5:50 p.m. in upstairs conference room. Move that the minutes be received and filed.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Emergency Management Director's report. Mr. Brian Newberry.
Thank you, Mayor. Afternoon, evening, Commissioners. I'm third string tonight. Joey and Deputy Director Hobbs are out, so got the third string quarterback tonight. You should have a packet there that has a couple of different data elements. Number one will be the district summary, so it breaks all of our call volume down by your individual districts. The second one you have there will break down the call volume in the different disciplines, fire, EMS, et cetera. And then the last one is some data on the coronavirus that is compiled there as well. And that concludes the report, unless anybody has any questions.
Make a motion to approve the report.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion from anybody? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Thank you, Mr. Bryan. Report from Law Enforcement Committee. Commissioner Rich.
Yes, Law Enforcement Committee met here at the courthouse on October the 19th. Minutes in your packet. Make a motion they be received and filed.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Sheriff's report, Chief Mike Owen.
Good evening, Mayor, County Commissioners. Hey, let me talk to you just for a second. Sheriff wanted me to communicate a message to you, okay? He's appreciative of all of you, but he's especially appreciative of some of your constituents in a certain area. This area is Hartsville Pike north of the county line, up around Trousdale, Tomlinson Road, Rogers Road, Goshen Road, Beasley's Bend Road, Johnson Road. If you have constituents in that area, he's extremely appreciative of their help. And what I'm referring to is last Thursday and Friday, we had an incident that started in the afternoon and it continued all the way through mid-morning Friday. Some fugitives from justice from South Carolina, and we were involved in an incident with them mainly those hours. It was a successful apprehension of both of them, but this is not about the sheriff's office. This is about those constituents, okay? From Commissioner Rich on down. This was a large area, all right? And they were so patient, some of your peoples. It's like, it's hard to explain, but when social media, when you have to put something out and notify, hey, this is going on in your area, it's really, it's tough to do. You have to do it at the right time. If you send it out too soon, you get some misinformation, people panic, you get a bunch of calls, and you're not able to focus on what you need to focus on. If you do it too late, then you're afraid someone's going to get hurt, something's going to get stowed, something's going to happen because they don't have the knowledge, all right? It's tough. And those people were so patient with the information going out, and then the response they got once the information came out. The next morning, what had happened, it allowed us to do what we needed to do, okay, when the information went out, and real quickly we were able to say, hey, this is credible, and this information that's a mile and a half away is not credible, okay, which is a big help. We were able to contain that area, and I had four individuals come up to me. What can I do to help? I've got this gate open. I've seen this over here. We've got this. As you're driving down through there, you see, I've seen two women standing at the end of the driveway in the mailbox, just standing there. Stood there for hours, okay? So those people really helped a 1.5 mile square perimeter lock that down so we could do what we needed to do. Wasn't for them, I don't even know if we would have apprehended those guys. So I don't know their names. I know one of them was a preacher at a church out there. I think one of them used to be a county commissioner here, but there were 4 that just contacted me while I was out there, and it was great, fantastic. I just wanted to let you know, Sheriff was just extremely pleased with that. As far as the report goes, not much changes from last month. Everything's just about the way it is, okay? Jail population, we're trying to keep it above capacity. It is. Road crews are out working. We're going to keep them out working as long as we can. They're safe, everything's good, and we're moving on. Any questions?
Move to accept the report.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Thank you, Chief Owen. Thank you. Report from Education Committee, Commissioner Marlow.
Education Committee met in regular session Thursday, November the 5th, 5:30 in upstairs conference room. Minutes are in your packet. Move they be received and filed.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Director of Schools report, Dr. Donna Wright.
Good evening. You have a complete packet that was sent to you earlier. Want to touch on what the mayor, speaking of earlier, we hit a record today, not only in Wilson County. There was over 7,900 active cases in the state of Tennessee today, 176 in Wilson County. And as we're tracking it through the school system, where we were really watching what was occurring last week, we're seeing a full COVID bloom now, and it's impacting our staff primarily. We're maintaining student attendance, but we are really struggling as far as being able to staff our schools, and we're hoping to make it to next week's break with Thanksgiving, so we can at least shut down, decompress, sanitize, and clean. But I just want to make sure that I keep everyone aware that we are now in the midst of something really serious. And we're also seeing complications of people that are not only testing positive, but they're also showing indications of the flu as well on top of it. And it's just, and I will keep everyone, and I've given you a report there as far as what we've seen. We've had 2-week remote with 2 schools, and then just today, W.A. Wright came back after 2 weeks, and then we've also put Green Hill High School on, just the high school portion, on remote because of an inability to be able to staff. So, but good news, good news. Put some notes in there as far as our Dell student tech crew. A couple years ago, and we've got this really unique relationship with Dell computers, and enough so that we've had several instances of recognition for some of the good work we're doing. But something that's really neat is what we have is a student tech crew. And these are students that are being trained under Dell standards, and they receive certification as Dell technicians because they're repairing the devices that we are using in our schools right now. And as with anything, particularly with students, and particularly the younger ones, that we might have a screen or something that's happening with a motherboard, whatever, we have students that are trained. And right now we have 78 kids that are certified Dell technicians that when they leave high school, if they choose to go into that field, they are already employable. And with that, though, we had something really neat happen. We had recognition of one of our students, one of 3 nationwide, that was recognized by Michael Dell, recognize the name there, that had a world conference and more or less called out and highlighted these 3 students as far as their experience as a Dell student tech crew. And our student, Grant Irons, Watertown High School, was one of those 3 students highlighted by Michael Dell, and it's his 2nd year as a Dell technician. Absolutely extraordinary. We have adults that are learning from him, but he was called out by Michael Dell on this international conference as far as his work and being, again, a connection to Dell technology. So I wanted to really call that out. I thought that was important for Watertown to pull that in there. So wanted to say that. Also want to recognize we had some awards among our board. Bill Robinson was a Zone 2 school board member, is a Zone 2 school board member, and he was recognized just recently as a Level 4 Boardsmanship Award. Larry Tomlinson, our board chair, was named to the 2020 All Tennessee School Board for TSBA, so he's one of 7 recognized across the state. And then Green Hill High School was chosen as the winner of the high school category for the TSBA's 2020 School of the Year Award. Want to recognize, and the mayor already brought this up, but recognize Commissioner Robinson and her leadership as far as recognizing a special child, and that for that moment in time there at Springdale. And if you've never witnessed or been a part of that, it's one that your heart is breaking at the same time as you're rejoicing because they're having something that they wish for, dream for, and thank for all the time that you put into making that happen. And then the last thing that you have on your in your packet is a resolution. And we've had to create several resolutions this year because it's such a unique, if not dreadful, time of year. But it's a close contact. It might not seem a whole lot, or might not seem very significant, but if you could see the time that's being taken in schools, every time we have a positive case, we have to do a close contact tracing. And the rule of thumb is 6 feet and anything more than 15 minutes. Now you can imagine what the measurement, have to read video cameras, look at the classroom, look at the dimensions as far as that close contact. Plus, we do it on the bus. It takes 3 to 4 hours of time of school administrators plus a school nurse. And the CDC came out with some new guidelines a little over a month ago that forget anything greater than 15 minutes. It could be a cumulative amount of time over 24 hours. Now, you think about that. Close contact, 6 feet, but any time that might have been measured over time of that 15 minutes, it's impossible. You'd have to shut everything down. And so in this resolution, it's more than just looking at it with common sense, but the idea that we are doing that close contact tracing. And so we, as well as several other school districts, are imploring and asking the governor and the Tennessee Department of Health that let us follow those established guidelines that we have right now. They're already time-consuming. We have well over 1,000 now that have been through that quarantine process, students and staff. And I think that we are so good at it that when you look at the numbers of those coming out of quarantine, whether it's the 10 or the 14 days, in some instances 24 days, we're seeing 0 right now that as a result of that close contact because we're being so thorough. And I don't want to say with absolute confidence that we also see that much of what we are experiencing as COVID positive in the schools is coming from outside the school and coming into the building. So with that, I just want you to know that this is a resolution that we're going to continue doing our job. We're going to make sure that we're taking every precaution to keep students and staff safe, but we also have to have some common sense in how it's being approached because we are spending so much time as far as keeping those classrooms safe, but also the environment as a whole, and hoping that we can get through this, what I refer to as the dreadful time, because the impact, not only the virus itself, but the educational impact for our youngsters, we will see this measured out from 2 to 5 years, and our youngest kids are the most vulnerable. So with that concludes my report for tonight.
Motion to approve.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions for Director Wright?
You have to think of that for a minute, didn't you?
Well, I thought I heard one here. Commissioner Franklin?
Back to the previous disaster of the 2 schools, are you any closer to negotiating a demolition permit? I know I ask
Get me
this all the
started.
time.
My face matching my hair right now. We have been put off for the second week, Commissioner Franklin, as far as telling us that we cannot start the demolition process, which I think I shared with you last week that I was ready to get on a bulldozer, which no one would allow me that opportunity. But what as was shared with us last week, the engineers and the insurance company have met. I'm hoping that they're going to come to a resolution as far as what they're going to agree to pay, and so we can move on, because as I also shared with you, we're also concerned about the time just on the demolition of the West Wilson Middle School being an older building, and looking at some of the hazardous materials that would have been in that old building. So, but thanks for asking. I'll keep you posted, I promise.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Thank you, Director Wright. And I will ask all of our people that are viewing electronically, if you want to unmute now. As we go through these committees, you can unmute and then answer aye or nay as you choose to. Going to move forward now with the report from the Public Works Committee. Commissioner Weathers.
Mr. Chairman, the Public Works.
Could you pull your mic down, please, if you don't mind? Just help. If y'all will help me, it just helps my people at home to hear better. Thank you.
Public Works Committee met Monday, October 19th, 5:30 in the upstairs conference room. The minutes are in your packet, and I move they be received and filed.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Ag Center Management Committee, Commissioner Robinson.
The Ag Management Committee meeting met on October 29th. It's in your packet. I ask that you receive as file.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion now? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Thank you. Animal Control, Commissioner Marlow.
No report.
Audit, Commissioner Bernard.
No report.
Table Tax, Commissioner Walker.
No report.
Development Tourism, Commissioner Vanatta.
Yes, the Development and Tourism Committee met on, there's a correction there. It should be Tuesday, November the 10th.
Okay.
At 6 p.m. in the upstairs conference room. I move that this report be received and filed.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay. Ethics, Commissioner Ash.
No report.
Finance, Commissioner Weathers.
Mr. Chairman, the Finance Committee met Monday, October 19th. The minutes are in your packet, and I move they be received and filed.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Health and Recreation, Commissioner Dow.
Health and Welfare Recreation met the 19th this year, October 19th of this year at 5:30 upstairs conference room. I move that be received and filed.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
They're in your packet. They are in the packet.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Insurance, Commissioner Ash.
No report.
Judicial, Commissioner Glover.
Yes, we met October 28th at 4:30 in the upstairs conference room. We also met again on November 2nd at 4:30 in the upstairs conference room. Move that these be received and filed.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion on either set? Commissioner Glover?
I just want to thank Director Grant Gardner. I know he's here in the back, and Felicia Hell has been working while we go through the process of cleaning up the rules, working on policy and procedure manual. We're meeting again tomorrow night to interview for one of the full-time positions. They have put almost as many hours in as almost a full-time job. But I just want to recognize Kenny Rich, Mike Kurtz, Terry Ash, leaving one off here.
John Gentry.
John, and also our county attorney, and Vaughn has been working extremely hard. And I just want to thank them in the meeting for all the hard work they've been putting in for it.
Any other discussion about it or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Aye. Planning and Zoning, Commissioner Rich.
No report.
Rules, Commissioner Gentry.
Rules Committee met Thursday, November 5th at 5 p.m. in the upstairs conference room to put a change into Rules 46 in the Rules Committee, which will be voted on a little bit later. The minutes are on your desk, and actually they're in the packet too. I move that we include them and approve them.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion now? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Aye. Urban Type Facility Board, Commissioner Rich.
Yes, the Urban Type Facility Board met on November the 6th at the Road Commission office. Minutes in your packet. Make a motion they be received and filed.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Finance Director's report, Mr. Aaron Maynard, of course, is under the weather, and he has said if you had any questions, the report is on your desk to give him a call or call our office, either one, if you have any questions about that. Report from the Budget Committee, Commissioner Marlow.
Budget Committee met in regular session Thursday, November the 5th, in the upstairs conference room. Minutes are in your packet. Move they be received and filed.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? I do need to get the report that's on your desk approved. Now, come on. Do I hear a motion to approve Mr. Maynard's report that's on your desk?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any questions about those? Did not mean to skip over that. All in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Okay. I'm going to turn this over now. You guys will need to unmute, so you can all of you unmute, please, so you can tell Ms. Dowdy your vote.
Resolution 20-11-3 to reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget for the 2021 fiscal year, and to amend the budget and appropriation resolutions for the 2021 fiscal year to make an additional appropriation into the Election Commission.
Motion approved.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Say, are you ready to vote? Well, no, you ain't got to do that. You just say, are you ready to vote? You ain't gotta hit that, just say you're ready to vote.
Are you ready to vote?
All right. Please cast your vote. Every time I point at you, that's all you gotta say.
Commissioner Patton. Commissioner Breeze. Commissioner McFarland.
He's asleep.
Lost Commissioner McFarland, he's not on there.
Commissioner Stafford.
Commissioner Stafford, how do you vote?
Commissioner Bishop.
Yes.
Commissioner Bishop.
Commissioner Bishop, you'll have to unmute. Commissioner Bishop, can you unmute? Mr. Bishop? We'll move on. Okay. Spain, okay. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 22 yes, 2 abstaining, and 1 absent. Resolution passes.
Resolution 20-11-4 to amend the budget and appropriation resolution for the 2021 fiscal year for line item transfers in the Ag Center Fund.
Motion to approve.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion now?
Are you ready to vote?
Please cast your vote.
Got it.
He's on it.
Come on, Allison.
He's gonna be the new mayor.
That's right.
Vote for him tomorrow. What's that?
Commissioner Bannock.
No. I name a lot of them.
Commissioner Patton. Commissioner Breeze. Commissioner Bishop.
He's still muted. Commissioner Bishop, if you could find your mute button to unmute you, that would get us back in line. Staying against good. You can't see her face. Or if you could turn your camera on, Miss Bishop, that would be good as well. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. Resolution passes.
Resolution 20-11-5 to amend the budget and appropriation resolutions for the 2021 fiscal year to make an appropriation from the drug court reserve account to drug court.
Motion to approve. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Now, any discussion? Seeing none,
Are you ready to vote?
please cast your vote.
Way to go. Glad he said that.
Commissioner Bannock. Yes. Commissioner McFarland. Commissioner Patton. Yes. Commissioner Breeze. Yes. Commissioner Stafford. Commissioner Bishop.
Got you. Yes, sir. Commissioner McFarland called, said his screen was frozen, but he voted yeses on all of them. Okay?
Yeah.
All hearts and minds good with your vote? Okay.
Mine say voted.
24 yes and 1 absent. Commissioner McFarland called in and voted yes on the resolutions.
This is a
Resolution 20-11-6 to enter into cooperative purchasing agreement with Savick.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none,
Are you ready to vote?
please cast your vote. Yes.
Commissioner Patton? Yes. Commissioner Breeze? Yes. Commissioner Stafford? Yes. Commissioner Bishop?
All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24 yes, 1 absent. Resolution passes. Proceed.
Resolution 20-11-8 to amend the budget and appropriations resolution for the 2021 fiscal year by approving Wilson County Board of Education General Purpose School Fund Budget Amendment 2021-04.
Missed one.
Skip 7.
We missed 7.
7.
Oh, 7. He skipped 7.
Well, I'll go back to it since we've already read this one.
I might want to change my vote.
Can we do that?
Let me go ahead and do 7. Okay, let's do 8. I've already read it. Don't make me do it again.
Make a motion to approve number 8.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion on number 8?
Commissioner Glover, Commissioner Kurtz, you had made the motion in a second.
Okay.
Did you mean that for number 8 or number 7?
Right.
Number 8?
Number 8.
I'm sorry.
Are you ready to vote?
That's for 8, right? Resolution 8.
Please cast your vote.
Gives you 2 lines.
Let me skip 7.
Commissioner Bannick? Commissioner McFarland?
Yes.
Commissioner Patton? Commissioner Breeze? Commissioner Stafford? Yes. Commissioner Bishop?
All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24, 1 absent. Resolution passes. Back to 20-11-7.
This is approving the creation of 2 new auxiliary or part-time judicial commissioners positions, authorizing those positions to be posted for employment and authorizing the director's position to be posted for employment.
Second.
A motion and a second. Now, any discussion from anybody? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The record reflect it was unanimous. Ready for 20-11-9.
And we're back online now.
Commissioner Dow?
I asked that this be deferred until the next health and welfare meeting. I think it's December the 10th.
Okay. There's a second on that?
Second.
Any discussion on that? We got some department heads and elected officials that need to review that one more time, so 30 more days will not kill us on that, so that would be great. Thank you for that. All in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Okay. Ready for 20-11-10.
A resolution 20-11-10 to approve a contract of insurance for partially self-funded medical and dental coverage on behalf of Wilson County employees, retirees, and dependents, and the administrative services contract to be with Cigna.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote.
Yes.
Commissioner Patton? Yes. Commissioner Breeze? Yes. Commissioner Stafford? Yes. Commissioner Bishop?
All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24 yes, 1 absent. Resolution passes.
Resolution 20-11-11 amending Rule 46 of the Rules of Order of the County Commissioners of Wilson County, Tennessee.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion about? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Let the record reflect it was unanimous. This time, we will need a motion to go out of session.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Mr. Tom Bashirs, the floor is yours. Public hearing on 2 properties tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, a public hearing will be held before the Wilson County Commission on Monday, November 16th, 2020, at 7 p.m. or thereafter in the County Commission Room here at 228 East Main Street in Lebanon, Tennessee. The following items are for consideration. The first case is an application being made by Kramer Tuggle of Warren and Associates Engineering, representing Krishna Patel, requesting to rezone the following property from C1 Neighborhood Commercial to I1 Light Industrial, approximately 3.23 acres located at 10,900 Murfreesboro Road, and being further referenced as Wilson County Property Map 160, Parcel 4. Copy of this has been on file in the County Planning Office for anybody that wished to review it. We also open the floor up for anybody to email in comments in light of COVID restrictions that are in place right now and some limitations of people wanting to travel to meetings. We did not receive any comments to my knowledge. So anyone requesting to come forward on this particular case, please come forward at this time.
You're here to speak on the property of, I believe we're at 10,900 Murfreesboro Road. Is that right, Tom? That's one we're on?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Donald Bruce, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and I'm the owner of the property. I'll try to answer any questions y'all have.
Thank you for being here tonight. Any questions? Seeing none, thank you so much for being here. Yes, sir. Anyone else here wishing to speak on this property tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next property, Mr. Tom.
The next item for rezoning is an application that was made by Brendan Bowles of Kimley Horn, representing Panatone Development Company, requesting to rezone property from A1 agricultural to C4 planned commercial, and it consists of approximately 28 acres located at 1716 Gwen Road, and being further referenced as Wilson County Property Map 141, Parcel 11. And the same conditions and criterion apply for this public hearing. Anyone requesting to speak on this case can come forward at this time.
Anyone here wishing to speak on the property? Seeing none, we're good. Tom, are you good?
I have one question.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Is this
Gentry.
part of the Speedway Complex out there?
No, sir. This is actually a sort of a pocket parcel that's surrounded on 3 sides by the Nashville Super Speedway's original holdings.
Right.
Panatone, as you know, is contracting incrementally to purchase portions of that. They're trying to sort of complete the square, if you will, on the south side of Gwen Road in this location. So they're looking at getting this rezoned to C4. They've submitted a master plan to incorporate that in with the same uses that they would have been approved for on their amended master plan otherwise in that portion of the original Speedway holding, Super Speedway holdings.
Thank
It's
you.
now owned by Panatone.
Anyone else wishing to speak about this property before we go back into session? Seeing none, I hear a motion to go into session. Second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Opposed? Mr. Tom?
Okay, the first item, again, is the application that was made by Kramer Tuggle of Warren and Associates Engineering on behalf of Krishna Patel, requesting to rezone the Bruce property from C1 Neighborhood Commercial to I1 Light Industrial. The property consists of approximately 3.23 acres and is located at 10,900 Murfreesboro Road, referenced as Wilson County Property Map 160, Parcel 4. And the rezoning request was presented to the Wilson County Planning Commission on October 16th, 2020, and is being forwarded to the County Commission with a positive recommendation from that body.
This property right here faces 231 South, the State Highway. I have one out there. I've not had any calls on this whatsoever, so I ask that it be approved.
I'll wait for a second.
I do have a motion. Do I hear a second? Second. I got a second. Now, discussion?
I should add, I did receive phone calls on this one. Most of them were curiosity questions about what they were asking for. The current C1 neighborhood commercial would allow anything from a gas station to convenience market to Dollar General to dry cleaners. The proposed rezoning is for I-1, and their stated intent is so that they can put in mini storage there. Some of the neighbors, which the closest neighbors are in a neighborhood right across Old Murfreesboro Road, and that neighborhood is actually in Rutherford County, so we had to notify Rutherford County as well.
It is.
They seemed in large part to be more in favor of having the mini storage as opposed to a gas station that might be selling beer and stuff.
I didn't receive any calls on it at all.
Any other comments or questions before we vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record reflect it was unanimous. Mr. Tom?
The next item, again, is an application made by Brendan Bowles of Kimley Horn, representing the Panatone Development Company, and they are requesting to rezone that property from A1 agricultural to C4 planned commercial, consisting of approximately 28 acres located at 1716 Gwen Road, and being further referenced as Wilson County Property Map 141 Parcel 11. And again, this rezoning of property was presented to the Wilson County Planning Commission on October 16, 2020, and is being forwarded to the Wilson County Commission with a positive recommendation.
Mr. Robinson, it's your district.
I have not had any calls on this whatsoever, so I ask also that it be approved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Tom.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Any old business to come? Excuse me?
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir. Any old business to come before this body? Any new business? Seeing none, I'll do like Mr. Tom and wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. And thank you for a good meeting tonight and working with us. And we got one more thing to do. Can you slam that hammer down? Yeah. Need a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Slam that hammer. We are adjourned.
You're the man.